Sir,
Yeah, hi Mohammed.
sir, I have successfully installed Angular CLI, sir.
Oh, super.
So
So
that's
what's
enough, sir.
yeah, that's enough.
Okay,
Yep,
sir.
no more steps are needed after that. Okay, we'll start. Good morning, all of you. Yes, my voice is clear for all.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So today we are going to start mostly with the practical session, so the coding part. So in case of any doubts in between the execution, please arrest me in the chat. Okay. So at the end, I will provide some time in case of any longer discussion we have to do. So at the end, I will provide some time. So in between at the break time, you can ask me any doubts. So in between, if it is a running time doubts, please ask me in the chat so that I will reply. And participants, 7. Okay. Okay. So we'll see a quick introduction. So sorry, a quick recap about the yesterday's session. So yesterday we started with learning what is the basic web application. So those are all general topics. So related to Angular, we need HTML, CSS, and JavaScript support. HTML is markup language, CSS having properties. Okay. JavaScript, if you want to implement any logic, then JavaScript support is needed. So these three technologies were combined to create a front-end web application. Okay, for front-end creation. Next, we are moving into framework. So why we are going for framework? If it is a large application, large enterprise application, maintaining the code, debugging the code, and to scale the code, it is difficult if we use plain HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Okay. So in order to reduce the complexity and reduce the configuration issues, we are going for framework. So framework is nothing but it's having a set of tools, having predefined structure. The configurations were maintained by the framework software. So we can directly go and start writing our program. So the other activities will be carried out by the framework. Okay. So related to JavaScript, JavaScript is an scripting language. So even if it's a programming language, we call it as a scripting language. So it is like a brain for our front end. Okay. So we can implement any kind of logic for front end by using JavaScript. Next, Angular. Okay. So Angular is one of the front end frameworks for creating, mostly it is used for creating presentation layer in any web application. Okay. So the first and primary purpose is to create presentation layer for a web application, which is happened in the front end. Okay. Yeah. Angular is a popular open source, okay, open source web application development framework used for creating dynamic web pages, single page applications. I will tell you what a single page application in practical working session. Single page web application, and it is having a set of tools and libraries, used for maintainable applications. So this is for creating maintainable applications. Okay, so this is one point. Next, there are some special features in Angular. We will talk about one by one features we're looking. And major thing we have to understand the difference between Angular JS and Angular. Okay, we have two different things, Angular JS and one is Angular. Make it clear again and again. If anyone is saying Angular JS, that is JavaScript related Angular framework. Okay, that is JavaScript based Angular framework. So they are using JavaScript for their framework. Then later, based upon some purpose, they created TypeScript and used it on latest versions. So nowadays, what we are using is TypeScript only. Okay. We are not using JavaScript anymore. So the latest versions of Angular, which is from the second version of Angular, the TypeScript is only the language which is used. So TypeScript is also, it's not a different programming language. It is a superset of JavaScript. Superset of JavaScript means all the functionalities you used in JavaScript will be applicable in TypeScript also. But apart from that, apart from the JavaScript, we have some additional features in TypeScript. That's it. Apart from that, we got some additional features. That's it. So these are all some examples we have seen yesterday. And today we are going to start working with our application. Wait, start my Visual Studio Code. And the installation is also simple. So we need three things. The first one is Node.js. So we have to download it from the nodejs.org website. You can download it from the nodejs.org website. So once it is downloaded, we have to yeah.
Sir, your video is not visible, sir.
No, I didn't share anything. Wait, once I share it. You able to see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Sir, your voice is
Yes, sir.
very low, sir.
Yeah, for everyone. Yes. Still my voice is low or?
No, sir.
Fine. Let me add some more noise. Okay, listen. So here I didn't do much things. Okay, I just directly opened and installed my directly installed the Visual Studio Code and opened the IDE. So after opening that IDE from a file, I just open a folder. I created a folder named as March 2. So inside the folder, our Angular basics text file yesterday I showed you know. So the text file got, so it is displaying. So this is just a folder. From here we have to continue. Next step. So we have to create a terminal. So I have already installed Angular CLI. If you have already installed Angular CLI, so after this step, you have to open a terminal. Hereafter, the process we are going to do with the help of Angular CLI support. So my terminal opened in this directory. So G colon session Angular and then March 2. The next step. In order to start work on with, we need a project. Okay. So we have to create a project first. For creating project, so we have an Angular CLI command ng new project. Okay. So ng new so listen, if I provide ng new sample project, it is asking for me, would you like to add Angular routing? So initially I'm clicking yes. Why? Next. It is asking for me which version of CSS are you going to use. There are some different kinds of CSS used for different purposes. CSS, SCSS, SASS, LESS. Okay. So we need just plain CSS. Then after clicking that, you can see installing packages npm. Yes.
சார் ஆங்குலர் சிஎல்ஐ வந்து அந்த ஃபோல்டர்ல தான் டவுன்லோட் பண்ணி வச்சிருக்கணுமா சார்?
இல்ல நாட் நீட். அதுக்காக தான் நான் சொன்னேன் அதை குளோபலா இன்ஸ்டால் பண்ணணும் அப்படின்னு சொல்லி.
சார் குளோபலா தான் சார் இன்ஸ்டால் பண்ணிருக்கேன்.
ஓகே, தென் இட் இஸ் ஃபைன்.
So for me, that the ng new sample project portal cannot load it because running script is disabled in Word.
Okay, yesterday I showed you a comment now. So this comment, if getting running script is disabled on the system, you have to use this command.
Okay, sir.
Okay, we'll share this in chat. So you can see it is installing some packages. So where we are installing these packages, it is from Node.js. So what we have installed in our system. So from the Node.js for our sample project creation.
Sir, server side rendering enable பண்ணணுமான்னு கேக்குது சார்.
இந்த ஆப்ஷன்
சார்
முடிஞ்சதுக்கு அப்புறமா இல்ல ஸ்டார்டிங்லயா?
இல்ல சார், ஸ்டார்டிங் அப்பவே கேக்குது சார்.
சர்வர் சைட் ஸ்கிரிப்டிங். சாரி, அந்த டெக்ஸ்ட் ஃபுல்லா சொல்லுங்க.
போஸ்ட் பண்றேன் சார்.
Okay. Maybe in your system you install some different versions, so that's why it will ask like this.
சார் அந்த கமெண்ட் போட்ட பிறகு சப்ளை வேல்யூஸ் ஃபார் தி ஃபாலோவிங் பேராமீட்டர்ஸ் அப்படின்னு வருது சார்.
Okay.
தட் மீன்ஸ்
Then
சக்ஸஸ்ஃபுல்லாக ரன் ஆயிடுச்சு சார். பட் ஆனால் அசெட் எக்ஸிக்யூஷன் பாலிசி மூலம் தான் சார் அக்செப்ட் பண்ணிக்குது. மீதி த ஸ்கோப் கரண்ட் யூசர் எக்ஸிக்யூஷன் பாலிசி அண்ட் ரெஸ்ட்ரிக்டட் அந்த சென்டென்ஸ் அக்செப்ட் பண்ணிக்க மாட்டேன் சார்.
சார் வந்துச்சா சார்?
yeah. Server side rendering, static site generation. Okay, no need this and all. If server side rendering இதெல்லாம் தேவையில்லை இப்போதைக்கு, ஸோ நோ கொடுத்துருங்க. And for Muhammad, try installing that Angular CLI again. Muhammad, after the set execution policy.
What, sir?
Come. Again, try to create the project. Sorry.
Yeah, me?
No,
Sir,
for Muhammad.
sir, for me, it's want to type me execution policy, sir. Type in the chat, sir. What?
Okay. Maybe wait. So I will provide some break at after completing 45 minutes of session. So in that break time, we can discuss any things. Okay. So please wait. We have to cover something. So please wait. At the time, I will explain. Okay. So others, listen. So after I gave the after I created this ng new sample project, first it will ask for Angular routing. Then it is asking for which version of CSS we have to use. Then later we can see there is a command like create Angular JSON, create package JSON, readme, create, and npm we're installing. So some kind of text we got. And finally, after completing, it shows me packages installed successfully. So from the Node.js, what are all the packages needed for our project? That packages were installed into our system. Okay, sorry, installed into our project. Then it is completed, and finally our operation is become success. Now, if I expand this march to folder, you could see again one directory created named as sample project. Then if I expand this, some files were created. So this is what the create statement: create sample project, create Angular JSON, create readme, and all. Next. So we'll look into it. What are all the files? So the first we have a folder called as .bs code. So this folder contains some configuration related to our code editor VS Code. So we are not going to touch here. So just leave it as it is. So it is related to the text editor. Okay. Second, node modules and source. I'll come next. Editor config. This is also related to the text editor. So we are not. This is not our working area. Git ignore. So if we are using GitHub, and if we want to commit any code, so which are all the files needs to be ignored while commit, that files will be configured here. Likewise, we have to commit our working code only, not the jars and other excess files. So that will be present in this .git ignore. So this is also not needed now. Angular.json. Okay. So this is actually having Angular CLI configuration. Okay. So this entire file having Angular CLI configuration. See, show you one thing. Yeah, here it is. So where the main index file is present. So what is the project name and what is the main folder where it is present, and configuration where the configuration is present, assets folder. So everything we created for our project, so that Angular CLI configurations were present in this file. And apart from this, this is for testing. So this is for unit testing and some browser configurations. So simply the basic Angular CLI configurations were present in this angular.json file. Package log.json. So before seeing this, let's see this package log.json. So this package.json contains the meta information of our project. So meta information means, so I created this project here. Then if I use the same project in some other system means, so for my project, which version of Angular, which version of other dependencies I have used, what all the dependencies I have used, everything will be logged here. So based upon the dependencies only, based upon this log only, the node packages will be installed into my system. Next, so where the packages will be installed, you can see there is a folder called as node modules. So inside this folder, I'm having so many other folders. So these are all called as dependencies. For our basic project, the basic dependencies were installed into our project in this folder. In this folder. Anyway, we are not going to touch this folder. So otherwise, this folder is created and the packages were installed based on this package.json. Simply, it's just called as a registry. Okay. So what are the packages we have used? For example, so the animations, the common, the compiler, core, forms, okay, rxjs, dslib. These are all our dependencies. So this is yesterday I told you, no. So unit test case we can implement. So for unit test case, this Jasma, this Jasmine and the Karma will be used. So this is package.json. And package.log.json, it is used for locking up our versions. So if I use the same project in different environment and different node module session, so which version I use for this project will be locked here. So again, it is similar to the package.log.json, the package.json. Same. So this file holds the versions. So for all the dependencies, what version I have used, everything will be kept here. You could see some scripts were given, ng, ngserve, ngbuild. So to start our application, showing ngserve, to build our application, ngbuild, to test our application, ngtest we have to provide.
Sir, is this is something we can learn in 2 days?
Yeah, in the students I will provide this basic, what are the things you needed. So to get started with Angular, I will provide this.
Okay, sir.
Sir, can I ask one doubt, sir?
Yeah.
Sir, and also guide us to complete the installation, sir. Then only.
Yeah. If someone has
Hello, sir.
yeah. Yes.
Yeah, sir. Already, my system is using React, sir.
Okay.
If I install the Angular, no problem, sir.
For React, what you install, I don't know. Not that much exposure in React. Maybe try installing that also, Node.js package and Angular. If you get any error, just search on Google and you can find it. I'm not sure about that.
Okay, sir.
Mostly, I think it is not any big problem if you install both React and Angular in the same system.
Okay, sir. Sir, same system only used in Angular and React, sir. These two are the same working.
Yeah, but for React it is different, I think.
Yes, sir. Okay, sir, I will try, sir. In case facing any queries, I'll ask you.
Okay. You. So it. So this Angular is basically not a single topic. Okay. So if you are very familiar and very strong in basics, then only you can able to learn other concepts. So if you urge and complete all the concept at a stretch while focusing on concept only, then later if you go outside 1 or 2 days, easily you can able to forget it. Okay. So that's why keep on stressing on focusing on the basics. So in this way only I created project. So I'll explain each and every steps from the start. Then later after adding 2 to 3 more codes, I will go some quicker to complete the topics. Then readme.md. So this is just if we want to add any information related to our project, we can add it. This is not any executable code. So this is just for any information related to our project, we can provide it. And tsconfig.json. So this tsconfig.json, it is related to our TypeScript configuration. Okay. So it defines how the TypeScript code should be compiled to JavaScript. So same TS configuration things are given. So these are all files which is created and maintained by the framework. Okay, we are not going to touch here. We are not going to modify anything here. So that just know what is this, what all the files is. And finally, the tsconfig.spec.json, it is used for again the unit testing. So I'll come later. What is the spec.json? These are all overall external files are created. Next, we go to this source folder. So if you expand the source folder, we have app, assets, favorite icon.ico, index.html, main.ts, style.css. This much of files were inside that. This app is a separate topic. I'll tell you. We'll go with the assets folder. So assets folder is nothing but if we are having any images or static content, like if we are having any images, any icons. So if we have any kind of files or animation files or GIF files, if I have anything, so we can insert in this assets folder. Just it is used for keeping the static content. This fav icon.ico, this is created internally by the Angular. It's created internally by the Angular. Just an icon. Okay. Next. This index.html is the root HTML file. So whenever we run this application, so this is the first file, index.html. This is the first way will get invoked. Okay. So this is what the configuration given inside this angular.js. See, index. Index is source/index. So at first, if you start your application, so this index.html will be the first HTML document will get invoked. Let's have some meta information in it. Next, after this, we have main.ts. So this is a TypeScript file for getting started with our application. Okay. then style.css. So globally, for throughout our application, globally, if we want to provide any CSS styling, so we can provide here. Likewise, if I have that, if you see Amazon.com, so everything throughout the application, it is yellow color only. So for the background and navigation bar should be yellow color. That is commonly used throughout the application. So that in case if we have any kind of requirement of CSS, we can provide here in style.css. Those are all for
Hello,
the, yes.
sir. First you told that these concepts are JSON used to do unit testing.
Yeah.
So what's the area of unit testing, sir?
No, what you are asking? So why this TS config is used, like you are asking that?
Yeah, sir. You told like unit testing, sir. What's that meaning of unit testing?
Okay. So unit testing is nothing but if you write any functionalities, the test cases you have to write. So you have to manually provide the data and you have to trigger the function and you have to check the function. If I provide this kind of data, the function will work or not. So that is what called as unit testing. So if you want to write any unit testing, we have to use this. So this is actually Spectre.json is actually unit testing configuration. So where we write this unit testing, I will tell you. I'll cover it.
Okay.
So don't worry, whatever the topics I'm saying, I will cover it. I will cover it. Then later, it will be there. So we are having a purpose to explain those. So nothing I will be missed. So don't worry. Next. Then the next topic we have to see is component. Component, which is a very important first basic topic. Okay. So yesterday I explained you. So while sharing on application, so in that web page, so whatever we are seeing, we can split that into components. Like top header bar is one component, and navigation bar is a component, and that form is a separate component, and footer bar is a separate component. So it is actually one. Um, it is simply the building blocks. Okay.
Sir,
So yes.
sir, we have to enable the server-side rendering, sir, or static site generation, sir.
Just click on no and proceed.
Yes, done, sir.
Yeah, yes. So 1 minute. So please, if I start explaining a concept, if you are having any doubts, please raise me in the chat, or you can ask me at the end of the session, or in between. I will provide some time. I will at the time you can ask me the doubts. So if it is keep on interrupting, it will disturb the sessions for others also. So I will provide some separate time. If you are having any clarifications or doubts, please ask me at that. Okay. For all, I'm saying. Or if it is really needed, please raise me in the chat. Thank you. See? Component is a basic building block of your Angular application. So if you create any application, Angular application. So at must you have a component. So we have that called as root component. The root component is called app. Right. So whenever you create an Angular application, so that application must have a root component. So here in our application sample project, we have a root component. That is what this app folder is. So this app folder is called as the root component. And this root component contains some set of files. So what are the set of files? So app routing module.ts, component.css, component.html, spec.ts, component.ts, and app module.ts. So totally 5 files are there. So due to this, it is a root component. So that's why it is having 5 files. But basically, if we create any component, 4 files will get generated. 4 files will get generated. So what are the 4 files? One HTML document, one CSS document, one TS file, and one spec.ts. Okay. These 4 files will get generated if we create any component. And for the particular component, if we have any HTML code, if we have any CSS code, we can write that HTML and CSS code. TypeScript code is related to our TypeScript, and spec.ts related to our unit testing. Okay, I'll explain what is that. And create one. Yep. So how to create a component we gave here. If we need to create a component, we have to use this CLI command, ngg, the component name. So now I will create one component. So before that, we have to navigate inside our project folder. So cd sample project. So I go inside my sample project folder inside my terminal. Then I have to provide the command ngc ng generate component, and my component name is. I have to say the next topic. So create a component for that. My component name is data binding. So ngc data binding. Then I press enter. You see in the left side project path, a folder is getting created named as data-binding. Okay. Here in the console, we have 5 statements. So create data binding component.html, create spec.ts, create component.ts, create component.css. Okay. So if I create any component, the 4 files will get generated. So HTML, CSS, TS, and then spec.ts. And finally, there is an update statement. Update source/app/app-model.ts. So 4 files is getting created and 1 file is got updated. Okay. We'll see what is that update. .ts. So where we write projects. .ts file. TypeScript file. This is what where we are going to write our logic. If you take any component, so this is my component file. So this code I didn't write any single line of code. If I create component, the basic code, which is automatically getting generated here. Next. If you take any component, we have three things. One is a selector. Second one is template URL. The third one is style URL. So one is selector, template URL, and style URL. Could see selector, template URL, style URL. So this component is called as a decorator. That is a separate topic. I'll tell you. This component is called as decorator. In some other programming languages, we call it as annotations. Okay. In Angular, we call it as decorators. Because we are going to create the classes like this in multiple places. So which class is model class, which class is component class, which class is service class, which class is pipe class, everything will be understood by Angular with the help of this decorators only. So if I use add component decorator, then my application understood, okay, this is a component file. So component type of functionality we have to provide, like it will be understood. You see, if you take any component, that component have three things. One is selector, template URL, and style URL. So selector means simply it is a unique name for the component. Selector means that is called as a unique name for the component. So if I want to call the component, if I want to remove the component, or if I want to do anything with the component, I should call this with the help of this selector, app-data-binding. Next, template URL. For this component, what template I am going to use, which is what HTML going to use, that is linked here. So I'm going to use the HTML code which is present inside data binding.component.html, and CSS. I can add one or more CSS properties so that it is given in an array format. But for template, I can give only one file, so it is given in a normal direct format. Okay. Template URL, HTML code, then CSS code. So if I don't want this component.html code, and if I don't want this .css code, we can write direct code here also. So if I don't want this HTML, I can directly, if I am going to use like, I'm going to use only paragraph tag. So then I can use here. But instead of using template URL, I should provide template directly. So I don't want to keep my code in a separate file and link it in the template. If I don't want to do like that, then directly with the help of template, I can provide like this. So initially we'll check this template URL only. Template URL, style URL. See this. Okay. Next. Update. What is this update statement? Here, this source slash, it is updated at app.module.ts. Okay. Module.ts. Module means it is used for grouping up of components. Okay. So my app is the main root component. Inside my component, I'm going to create multiple another components. So initially I have created data binding component. So if I want to know where the data binding component is present, then directly I can go for this module.ts. See, inside module.ts, there are some import statements are given, and one annotation, one decorator given as at ng model, so that this class is a model class. Then if you see here, one text called as data binding component. So this is our component which we have created, right? So this text is added here. So that is what the update is meant for. So this text and import statement were added here. You see, data if binding slash data if binding dot com. Data if binding dot com. So whatever the components you will create inside this app.folder, folder, inside this folder, so it will be added here. Then later also I'll tell you. So initially you can see this having app component and data binding component, and we're having some set of inputs like for browser, for app routing. The app routing for this file it is added here. Anyway, we are going to run our application, so that browser module is added for browser related supports. Simply, this model is related like a registry. If you look into this module.ts file, you can see how many components we are using, what are all the inputs we are using, what are all the other existing things we are using. Everything will be present here in app.module.ts. And these are enough information for this one, I guess. Okay. Fine. So we'll take some break now. So those who are having any doubts, please let me know this time.
Sir, if you create a component, sir, each component it created the selector templates styles or each component only created as it.
Yeah, this 4 files is only created HTML, CSS, TS, and then spec.
Okay, sir. It created one component, right, sir?
Okay.
The component for file or folder, sir?
No, it's a folder only. It's a folder. Inside that folder, the 4 files will get created.
Okay, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, I downloaded everything, sir, except data binding, sir. I think.
No, hereafter we don't need to download anything.
Oh, no, sir. I mean NPM packages, sir. The folder, everything, sir.
Okay. So that packages will be installed if we created this project. No, actually,
Yes, sir.
what you're talking about?
Sir, I'm talking about, yes, sir. Would you like to add Angular routing? That statement you
okay.
seen, yes, sir.
Yeah.
That all that I download in my folder, sir.
Okay, super. So is there
Yes,
everything
sir.
fine or any
Yes, sir.
errors?
Everything's fine, sir. Sir,
Okay.
when I'm trying to download in VS Code terminal, it's not downloading, sir.
Okay.
But when I go to the command prompt, and in that command prompt, it will work, sir.
Maybe the running scripts were disabled. Some error you got
Yes,
because
sir.
of that it
Yes.
created like that. Not sure because of the latest version you have downloaded, it may be restricted. I think.
Okay, sir. Yes, sir. Maybe the reason.
Yeah. Just search on Google how to resolve this issue in Visual Studio. Then you can find. Okay, I'll come back in a minute. Okay, sorry. Okay, listen. I'm back. Am I audible? Audible? Everyone is on the line?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yeah, okay. Here. So we already have a component called as root component, that is our app.component. So same app component.html, spec.ts, app.component.ts were present. In HTML, if you open, you can see some default code is already given. These are some CSS. So first time it will take some time to go.
Sir, before that we have to download data binding, sir.
No. Data binding is just a component I have created. So how to create component? For example, I showed you. Listen. So to run our application, we don't need to create extra components. Okay. So just if we create the project, app component is already getting created. So just if we want to run our application, just we can start either by using npm start or ngserve. Next, it provided some browser browser application bundle generation completed. So it is internally created for some browser applications. Then finally we have Angular live deployment server is listening on localhost 4200. Okay, so our application is started and now it is running on which port? Port number 4200 on our localhost. Localhost means our local machine. So if you want to see our application, we need a browser first. Okay. I'm not going to use separate browser. In Visual Studio, there is an internal browser is available. So I'm going to use that. So if you go to the search bar, there is an option simple browser show. I click on it. http://localhost:4200. So this is what my see. This is what my
Sir, local port number every system will change that.
yeah, it is defaultly available. Defaultly assigned it is 4200. We have not done much any configuration for this.
Sir, the command is npm start for starting the project, sir.
Yes, npm start or ngserve. I gave here. See, to run the project, either we have to use npm start or npserve.
Sir, if you use Mac అంటే NG start అసలు.
No, basically it's npm start where we will use now if we download any new Angular project and if we provided some if you download any new Angular project from some other sources, and first we have to provide npm install. So after npm install, so we want to make sure our npms are installed correctly or not. So from the start, from the scratch, in order to start the application, we can use npm start.
Okay.
Or else otherwise we can go for ngserve if we are just running our application and it is already running in our normal system. So at first time we need this npm start simply.
Other time we will run na NG start. So NG start.
ngserve is enough.
Okay.
Okay. So listen, our application provided a URL. So that URL is http:// localhost 4200. So then if I hit this URL, yeah, you could see this is my internal browser. This is my URL. In my URL, my application is running. If I hit this URL, some UI and other things are going. So this is nothing but the content which is provided in the app component.html. Okay. So this is the content which is shown here. And it is helpful for us to learn something. So it is provided some learn Angular link, CLI documentation, Angular material, Angular blog, Angular dev tools. Okay. So if you want to learn this, you can navigate this to this link also. It will go to some official Angular website, and from that we can learn. Yeah, tell me.
Sir, I
Sir,
got it.
Yes, one by one.
sir, for me, not this page is not visible, sir. Another page is coming.
Another page means?
Angular page, sir, but it's modified, sir. Like
Yeah, maybe based on latest version. That is what
yes,
I
sir.
suppose.
Like new Angular. Hello sample that like coming, sir. That means
Okay.
Sir, for me, hello sample project. Congratulations, your app is running like that. It shows.
Okay. Maybe in latest version they have changed.
yes, sir. It's like new, not like this, but new.
Yeah, no issues. That is completely not an issue. Okay.
Hmm.
Because whatever the code inside this app component, it is displaying here. That is what
Okay,
I just
sir.
shown you how our application is working. That's it. Okay. Next, if you see how this application is initiated, let's say. So whenever we start this application, the first page, the first file will get invoked is this index.html. If you see inside this index.html, there are some things are given. This title. So this is the title displaying on the top of my browser tab. Okay. And this link icon is this icon. It will show if I run on some other browser. This browser does not display. A black color icon will be shown. Apart from that, inside body tag, I provided one tag named as app-root. So this tag is nothing but it's a selector of your app component. Simply, it is a selector of your app component. So if you go inside our app.component.ts, you can see the selector name is app-root. Okay, our selector name is app-root. So that if we want to call this app-root component, just directly give inside the tag so that that code will be present here. Simply, in the next example, I will tell you. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to Control-Alt, just delete. and then paragraph in H1 we can say in H1 app component. Just a basic text I have given. Then if I save this, you see in this browser, automatically it is getting selected. App component. We don't need to go and reload and refresh anything. Whenever you say, whenever it finds the changes, that changes will be binded here. So I'm talking about speed of Angular. Okay. Just to see. Say hello. Wait, I'll come. Hello world. Then click on save. Is in the browser. Hello world. Okay. Even if you use external browser like Chrome or Edge, so same thing will be happening. Yeah. Now tell me. Now ask me any doubts.
Sir,
Sir, if you write an HTML only app dot component dot HTML, sir.
Okay.
Then if you write CSS na app dot component, that's common for all. If you create on websites, na, all HTMLs are inbuilt in the HTML page, and all CSS styling also stored in CSS. Sir. Once
No.
you each component, you will create a CSS page and HTML page.
No. For this component, I didn't created any separate files. Okay. What I'm saying is, component is a bundle. Okay. So if I say app component is a bundle, and data binding means data binding is a bundle. For example, in this data, I am going to this data binding component. So there is a text named as paragraph data binding hyphen works is there. In my CSS, I'm adding one paragraph. Color it. This property I have given, and I'm going to my app.component.html. I'll explain you. Wait. So this is my selector. I'm copying this selector in app component. After this, okay, let's try save. So in simple browser, you can see the hello world. So the hello world is present in app.component.html. The data binding works present in data binding component.html. Okay. So what happens is, this is a separate bundle and this is a separate bundle. So this bundle code I have added here, and for this bundle code I have added here. So whatever the CSS properties I have given, whatever the HTML code I given, so everything will be arranged and displayed in browser according to the order. So first I here. So first I gave hello world, then I call app hyphen data hyphen binding. So hello world text is there and data binding text is there. Simple.
Sir,
Yep.
in Angular, we have to write our code only in app, sir, app folder.
No. App folder is for routing. Okay. So if you want to write any code, you have to create a separate component, and from there you have to write the code.
Sir, if create a component in source folder in app root component, then only created the data binding component, sir.
Yeah. So and you no need to specify. Okay. You no need to specify the location also, because inside project wherever you create, it will be created under this app component only.
Every time you will create one new component means created in app.
Yes, it is automatically getting created in app component, app folder.
Okay.
because that is why that's why I told app is a root component. So
Okay,
each
sir.
and every component you will create, that component will be created under this app.
Sir,
Yes.
sir, how this simple browser is not available in my VS Code? How to enable this?
You're having a search bar.
Oh, yes, sir.
In the search bar, open and provide this greater than or symbol.
Okay, sir.
You are getting any suggestions?
Yes, sir. Many suggestions, but not that simple.
Okay, no issues. If the simple browser is not enabled, just you can directly use your Chrome or Edge or anything.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Okay. So for me, I need to switch two different applications. So that's why I directly using this simple browser in order to show you. So you in your system, if you are working with, you can use any browser already installed on your system.
Simple browser, sir. It's see, we want to add a shortcut for that, sir.
No shortcut we needed.
I got that command, sir. Simple browser show.
Okay.
But next, what want to do, sir?
Next, you have to provide the URL for you.
Sir, how to copy it from that that command prompt? What is the command for copying it?
Just usual control C only.
But control C means it is terminating the program, sir, only.
Oh, okay. Um,
It's somewhat another key want to press it, so only MS.
okay, or else do one thing. Just click on that link. If you click on
Okay,
that
sir.
link, the default
Oh,
browser it will go.
yes, sir. From there we can.
From there you can use it. Okay.
Okay, sir. But somehow they will be copying this in this command prompt. This means this terminal they will copy.
Okay,
But
you
how?
can. Yeah. Are you seeing my screen? So it is
Sir?
asking for me. Do you see my screen?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. So there is a link given. It is
Ah,
actually not given as a text. It's given as an hyperlink. So if I
yes,
click this, it is directly go to my default browser window.
yes, yes, sir.
Okay. Or else it's a simple link. You can just type directly.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Have enough time. Wait. Okay. First, I will complete the topic and come back this way.
Okay, sir. Sure, sir.
Okay. Listen. So data binding is a topic. Okay. So it's an important topic at use it for initial stage. Okay. So how we are displaying the data from the component into our HTML. That is what the exact topic here. Okay. How we are displaying our data from the TypeScript file to the HTML, because TypeScript file is going to interact with the backend services and other working logic also, so that from there only we are going to get the data. How we are going to get the data, how we are going to display it, that is what this data binding concept. Okay, we have two types of data binding. So one is one way data binding, and another one is two-way data binding. So one-way data binding means just getting the data and displaying to the user. Two-way data binding means displaying it to the user as well. The same data will be changed. Okay. Yes. So in one-way data binding, there are again the three types. So one is interpolation, property binding, and event binding. Interpolation, property binding, and event binding. Okay. So interpolation means we have to use this symbol. Property binding, we have to use square bracket, and event binding we have to use the parenthesis. Syntax I'm saying, okay. Sorry, interpolation we have to use this double flower braces. For interpolation we will use this double flower brace. For achieving property binding we use this square bracket, and for event binding we use this. Next, I'll come to a data binding. Next, data. I'll go to my I'm opening my data binding component.ts first. Inside my TS, I'm creating a variable title. In Angular, for declaring string, we can use single quotes also. No issues on it. Title, data binding. Okay. Next, I'm opening my HTML. Like this. I'm opening a paragraph tag. Inside paragraph tag, I'm going to use interpolation. So if I want to interpolation, I need to use double flower brace. So inside my double flower brace, whatever the data inside my component, I can provide the variable name. I should provide the variable name title. And here, inside double flower brace, providing the title. Next, if I save this, automatically this will be binded and shown in my browser. Sorry, I closed it.
Sure.
Sir,
Yeah, tell me again.
sir, can you pin the command for installing the data binding package bundle, sir?
No, it is not. We have installed. It is just created. Okay. So it is not a separate software or anything. It is just a component I have created. So that is what I told. I created a component ngGC. So you see this text, no? So here to create or generate any file, so we have to use this command ng generate and then component name. So
Yeah.
data binding is one of the component I have created. So similarly in data binding, I can create n number of components also. Next.
So we have to give another name also, right? As a data binding.
Yeah. You can give data binding, you can give forms, you can give for the next topic, whatever I'm going to explain, I'll create a separate component for all the topics.
Oh, okay, sir. Okay, sir. Yes, yes.
So listen, you see, the data binding title is present in my component where we are writing the logic. Then by using interpolation, I created a paragraph tag, and inside the interpolation, I passed the variable. Then if you see our browser, hello world, this is from app component. This data binding is displayed. Okay. This is how the one-way data binding by using interpolation will work. First thing. Second, we have property binding. So property binding means So property binding is simply having an input tag. Inside input tag, we have a property named as value equals test. Okay. So here, if you see, I've created one input tag, and inside input tag, by using this square bracket, I'm providing a property called as value and equals. In the double quotes, I provided testing. So this is manually I have given. Now, if I save this,
Sir,
we miss the,
sir,
yeah.
sometimes your voice is going very low. Can't hear.
Now,
Yes, sir.
I'm sorry, my mic position were gone down. So that's why.
Yes, sir. Sometimes it's going very
Yeah.
low.
Okay. No issues. Good name. Here. Done. Okay. So check here. First I displayed by using interpolation. Now I'm having a data in a variable named as input name. Okay. The data is John. So here I saved it. And in my HTML, by using a property value, I am calling this input name. So if I save this, and you could see in an input text box, the name John is pointed here. The name John is pointed here. But what's the difference? Whatever I do, and if I press any submit, that value will not be updated here. Okay? That value will not be updated here. So at the end, it still remains John only. Why? Because it is a one-way data binding concept. So we can display the data from our component to HTML only, but not from our component to TypeScript. We can change. We are unable to change the data. We are just it is used to display the data only. So this is called as property binding, a basic, very simple example. And third, we have this event binding. So event binding is nothing but we have to attach an event. For example, I'm creating a button. Inside the button, I'm using this parenthesis for event binding, and I'm providing one event. I'm providing one event. The event name is first. Here I'm creating a function. Function name is, let's say, on click. Okay. Here in my data binding component, I created a function called as onClickFn. So this is my function name. So we are going to bind an event. So this click this function, when it will be triggered while clicking this button. So that I should call this on click F1 function. Save this function name, the button name. Button. Simple. The button name is click button. Whenever I click this button, the on click function will get triggered. So this on click function is binded to this particular button. So this is what this is what called as event binding. So click is an event. Anyway, this will not work because we are unable to open console for this browser. So just to understand what is how this click event will work. So how this property binding is work. Next we have two-way data binding. So two-way data binding is quite different.
Sir, why it's not working, sir? What to do?
No, we have to check the console. I am unable to open the console in simple browser, so it will work, but we are unable to see that in this
that
browser.
console in browser, you want to go and
yeah, we have to go and check.
okay.
Next lesson. So two-way data binding. So to display the data as well as to modify the same data, we have to use this two-way data binding. So two-way data binding is something like the combination of the property binding and then event binding. So the combination of these two symbols. And apart from that, one more activity we have to do. So in order to do this two-way data binding, the NG model support is needed. So NG model support is needed. So in order to do this, we have to import forms model in our app model pages. So that we have to import forms module in our app.module.ts. In our app.module.ts. Okay, so carefully. So we'll do this import first. I'm going to my app.model.ts. Inside my app.model.ts, in my imports, not in the declarations. Declarations used for component. So we have to add in the imports. Imports. I'm providing one comma and adding here. So if I add this, I'll get one error. And if I hover over this, inside the quick fix, it will show add import from Angular/forms. So this is what I have made. So then an import statement will be added. So no need to write this import statement entirely. So just copy this forms module word, paste it on imports.
Sir?
Yeah, I'll provide on time at the end. Wait. So I'll paste this form module. So if we hover over that, it will suggest us to add the import. So then if we add it, then it is enough. Yeah, tell me now, any doubts?
So two-way data binding is used for app.model.ts, yeah?
No, this, so here only we have this module. So I'll say this. Wait. The input, so whatever the supports needed, that support will be provided from the app model.ts only. So that in order to work on anything inside the app folder, we need this support from the app.model.ts. So like that, in data binding, we have to use ng model. If we want to use ng model, then inside model.ts, we have to import the forms module. So that's why I done this here. So think like you have to get the permission from your from college HOD or principal. Okay, in order to do anything here, we have to get the permission here. Next, two-way data binding. The same input name we take. And this. I'm opening an input tag again. I'm opening an input tag again. And inside my input tag, I'm going to create one ng model by using the syntax ng model equals. My model name is the variable name. I'm going to use this input name variable. I'm copy this input name and paste it here. Okay. So now my ng model is linked with this input name variable. Okay. Next, at the same time, I'm creating one more paragraph tag by using interpolation to show you live. I'm calling this input name. Calling this input name. Save this. And if you see in the browser, in text box, we have the name as John. Okay. So where this John name comes from, the name comes from our TS input name variable. Okay. Listen carefully. The John name comes from the input name variable. So that is what we have called here. That's what we have called here by using ng model. By the same time, we just called by using interpolation. Interpolation is meant for what? For displaying the data from backend to frontend, simply. Okay. Now, if I change this, you could see whatever the changes I'm doing, it has affected the backend data also. Okay. It has affected the backend data also, which means the data we can get from the TypeScript to HTML, as well as from HTML to, in order to change the data, we can change it by using this ng model. So this is called as two-way data binding. So if further process, if I submit this data, then whatever the data I have provided here, that data only will be submitted. So not this data which is assigned in the data binding component will be submitted. So this is called two-way data binding. So in order to do this, we have to provide inside ng model.
Sir,
Yeah.
sir app.model.ts package மட்டும் அந்த app folder கூட எனக்கு மிஸ் ஆகுது சார்.
Okay, the file create agale.
app.download அதெல்லாம் கிரியேட் ஆயிருக்கு சார். பட் app.model.ts கிரியேட் ஆகல சார்.
சரி, ஓகே, கிரியேட் பண்ணலாம். என்ன கமெண்ட் சொல்றேன்.
சார் இப்போ ஒன்று பண்ணீங்களா சார், ஜஸ்ட் அது அஃபெக்ட் ஆகுற மாதிரி பண்ணீங்களா சார், டைப் பண்ற மாதிரி, அது ஒரு தடவை எக்ஸ்பிளைன் பண்ணுங்களா சார்?
ஓகே, சிம்பிள். So 1 minute. So here, you see, statically we have given. Okay. So this input name equals John will not be changed by using this data binding dot component. So there is a default value, the input name equals John. So what we can do first, we can display the input name by using interpolation in HTML. So that is I have given here. We can display the input name by using HTML. Then after that, if you want to change that, So this is actually one-way data binding. So whatever the data inside the input name, it will be displayed. Now, if I want to change the data, I need to use this ng model. I need to change the data means if I use this ng model, whatever the change made to this input name, that will affect the original data also. So that we can get the data from TS to HTML and we can send the data from HTML to TS also. Maybe you can get more clarity on the forms when I explain. Don't worry.
Okay, sir.
Yeah.
சார் அந்த இன்புட் நேம் சார் அது என்னடா வைக்கலாம் நேம்?
அது என்ன வேணாலும் இருக்கலாம். Just our own names, reserved keywords கிடையாது. Listen, next. I'm going to create one more component. Okay, listen. The next topic we are going to see is forms. So in order to work on that forms, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new component. So here in sample project, ng generate component. My component name is forms. Okay. Yes.
Sir, it gives CD space. CD means redirect the file, sir.
No. We have to navigate inside our project folder. So up to this,
Okay, sir.
in the first line up to this, I am in my March 2 folder. So if I
Okay,
create anything in my March 2 folder, it will not work. Okay. First, I have to navigate inside my project folder. Then if I create any forms or do anything, it will be created.
Okay, sir. And then CD space only a project name for sample project, sir. Then only you given to the forward slash. Then only sample project. Then given the.
No, that's the shortcut actually. If you, I'll show you. Okay. So I'm in my March 2 folder. So if I create any terminal page, it will there in my March 2 folder only. So I'm typing cd and just typing tab. If I press tab, whatever the folder inside that, it will be displayed. If I have 1, 2 or more folders, I can able to navigate like this. Yeah. It's a
That's
shortcut
the
in
rule
Angular.
for. Okay, sir. That's the rules for dot forward slash.
Yes.
Also, you can give the file name, sir, that not redirect to the file, sir.
No. It is just navigating into the folder. It is used for. Okay. Listen, nggc forms. Then I press enter. Again, you could see I'm going to work on with forms. So I'm not going to touch this data binding directory. So I created a separate component named as forms. So that inside my app folder, inside a forms folder, form component is created. You see? So data binding, then forms. Inside forms, CSS file, HTML file, spec.ts, and TS file. 4 files were created. And finally, it is updated in my app.module.ts. If you open this app.module.ts, you can see forms component. So previously I shown you, so there is no forms component is present. Now after I created, the forms component is already imported here. Why? Because this forms component is also a part of the app component. Okay, the form component is inside the app component, so that's why the registry should be present inside app.model.ts. Okay. So whatever the component we have to create, we have to register the component in this app.model.ts.
That automatically will add it, sir.
That automatically will be added.
Okay.
Next, forms.
Sir, app.model.ts is most important for this project, sir.
Yeah, definitely.
Yes, sir. For that, now also I'm creating the form component, sir. For that component also, the model.ts is missing, sir. I don't know
So
the.
again you create a new project. No, yeah, I'm asking again you create a new project or then inside the same project also.
I will create a data mining project, sir.
Okay.
But so the model.ts is missing. Now I create
No, there it is no need.
component along with
No. There it is not needed.
there's no need for models.
No need.
So,
Yeah. Okay. Forms. Select. Uh, okay. So forms is a very important topic. Why? Because forms is the topic which is forms is the thing which collects all the data from the user and send it to the backend for the further processing. Okay. So wherever you see any application, in most of the places you look the forms. For example, we have registration form, we have login form. Okay. And if you select any product or if you are ordering something, then you have to provide the order details, you have to provide the address, and if you want to interact anything, you have to provide the data. If you want to do the calculation, again you have to provide some input to the user, input to the application. So whatever the things you are going to interact with the application by using the forms only. So that's why you can use most of the places this forms. You will use the forms in most of the places. In Angular particularly, we have two different forms, two types. So one is template driven forms and another one is reactive forms. So this is called as modern form. Then so for this I already have a set of code, so I don't want to waste time. So I'll just paste some code and explain it. Right, I'll explain the code. First, I will explain this. So we are going to see the template-driven forms. For template-driven forms, we need a support for the form. We need support from the forms module. Okay. So again, we have to import the forms module in app.module.ts. So we have already imported it, so no need to do it again. Next, in template-driven form, we have less control over the forms. Have less control over the forms means in TypeScript code we are not going to write any logic. We will not write that much of logic. So it uses ng model to send model for interaction. The model for interaction. See this? So it is not a big deal. I'm just created a simple form. Okay, here. So the form having name, email, phone, and address. Okay. So if you want to create a form, first we have to open the form tag and edit the form tag. Within the form tag only we have to create all the fields. I created one input field for ID name, another one field for email, and for phone number and for address. Okay. Next, these are all common. Additionally, in Angular, what we have to do is, so here we have to provide the name of the form in a different way. It is quite different. So hash reg form is the name of the form. We have to provide one unique name for this form. So reg form is the name of this form, and this form is of type ng form. Ng form. So it denotes that it is a form simply. Next, ng submit. So ng submit is the action. What will happen if I submit this form? So here, if I submit this form, it will go to the function called the submit form, and inside that submit form, I'm passing the form value. Reg form, I'm passing this. Next, in input, if I go here, the required attribute I give, and finally ng model. I'll come to this next. So first of all, form data. So here I initialized my form data. So how I have initialized? Name is empty, email is empty, phone number empty, address is shell. So this step is called as initialization. So why this initialization is needed? In order to work on with the ng model, first we need a variable first. Here you could see form data dot name, form data dot email, form data dot phone, form data dot address. I am accessing the name variable, email variable, phone variable, address variable from here, from this form data inside my form component. I'm accessing. So we know the purpose of ng model. We can access the data from component.ts to our HTML as well. We can change the data, we can modify the data from our HTML to the backend. So in this form, if I change my name, if I change email, if I add phone number, all the things will be added here. Okay. If I provide name as John, then this name is assigned here. So initially if it's an empty value, if I change, the name was also changed. Next. Submit form. This function is just for submitting the form. If I submit the form, I'm receiving this ng form, and this from ng form I'm just logging into the console form.name, form.email, address, phone number, everything. So any purpose we can do. So this is not a big deal. Next. And here finally submit button. I gave one comment. I gave one condition like disabled. So when it is disabled, if my registration form is not valid, so here not symbol I have given. So opposite to registration form dot valid is not valid. If my registration form is not valid, then I should not submit this form, so that the submit button should be disabled. That is what I have given here. So everything is straightforward and simple. And finally, we have some validation statements. So what is this validation statements? First one is valid or not. So reg form dot valid. So it is a boolean, it will return a boolean value. If my form is valid, then it will return true. If my form is not valid, then it will return false, simply. Okay. So this is an inbuilt functionality which is available in your template run forms. Inbuilt it is available. So rich form means this one. Okay, registration form dot valid. Next, touched. If I touch any of the text box, then it will become true. Okay. So touched or not. Pristine. Pristine means purity. Okay, the form is pure or not. If I didn't touch that form, then it is pure. Next, dirty or not. So if I touch that form, again it is called as dirty. So touched, and if I type anything and remove anything, then it is called as dirty. Finally, value. So inside the register form, whatever the initial value, whatever inside name, whatever inside email, whatever inside phone, whatever inside address, it will shown in a JSON format. So this is a pipe. I'll come later. So this is one overall explanation of this form. Now let's see how it is works. If you go to simple browser, form will not be displayed. See, can anyone tell me what we have to do now?
Sir, first you want to start, sir. Start localhost.
No.
Sir,
My
Sir,
application
NG
is still
serve, sir.
no, my application is still running.
sir, அந்த ஃபார்ம் வந்துட்டு நம்ம ஆப் வந்துட்டு இன்னும் இன்பில்ட் பண்ண
Yeah, that's very good. So this is created separately, but we are not linked anywhere. Okay, we are not linked anywhere means this forms will not binded anywhere. Why? Because in our app.component.html, if you see, we have this app-data-binding only we gave. Okay. Now I don't want this, so I comment this data binding. I want the forms. So app-forms is the selector. We have to call the selector. We have to call the selector. If we call the selector, then only the code inside forms.component.html will be there in our browser. Now if you see, okay. But the data binding HTML code is not here. Why? Because we have commented it. So this is how we can link each and every component.
Sir, what changes we have to do in app.component.html, sir? Can I
Simple. Just we have to call the selector. So simply just imagine in our programming language, we created a function. Okay, we'll create function in many places. So if we want to use that function, we have to call that function, right? Similarly, so if I want to use this forms
Can you
component,
show?
then I have to call the form. Okay. So I have created data binding. If I want to work on the data binding, I have to call this data binding selector. So that's why. So here I call
Sir,
this
in
app
where
forms.
connected, sir?
Mhm.
App.component.html, where it's connected, sir? Where it's calling.
App.component.html connected in index.html here. App-root is the selector for app.component.html. So from index.html, it will call the app-root. So it will trigger the it will call this particular code. From this code, we are calling this app.forms. So app.forms, this code will be called here. So finally, in application, we got this content. Got it? Yeah.
Sir, it created a few forms in HTML, sir. So HTML form. In this form name, sir, you given like some names, sir.
Okay.
Why, sir, you give title name like a title equal to that form name, sir?
Okay, 1 minute. Where you are saying?
Uh, forms, form component HTML.
Okay, forms form.
Inside the form, sir, the first line register form like form name, sir.
Hmm.
Why, sir, you given to title equal to form name?
Okay. That's what I mean. So this form, we need to name a form. Okay, we have multiple forms in our application. So we have to name this form. So we have to name this form. I gave this form name as REG form. We can change any name. So register form. Okay, or
No, sir,
school
my
form,
question
anything.
is title equal to REG forms. Uh, that's
Title.
right or wrong?
No. This is actually the syntax.
Okay, sir.
Okay, this is actually the syntax. You have to follow this. So you can change this REG form, but you can't change this equals NG form.
NG form.
Mm, yeah.
Okay.
So this should be static. You have to, if you want to name the template driven forms, then equals NG form is a must do.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Sir, can you show it in text or HTML, please?
Which one? No, your voice is broken again.
HTML.
Index.html you're saying. No, I'm sorry, I can't hear your voice. Okay, if anything, please let me know in the chat. I'll check. HTML node 8. Okay, now listen. So here in the forms, you have name, email, phone address, everything. And you could see the submit button is disabled. We can't click this submit button. Why? Because the form is valid or not? No, it is not valid. So we can't submit this form. And this form is touched or not? No, it is not touched. So it is false. This form is pristine or not? Pristine means purity. Yes, the form is complete pure. Why? Because we have not touched anything. So dirty or not? False. So it is not dirty because we didn't touch anything. So everything is equal and opposite. So if I touch this form and touch here, you can see, just I click this name and click outside. So you can see, still it is pure, but it is touched. Touched becomes true. Initially it becomes false, then touched becomes true. Then if I type anything, you could see the purity will get collapsed and it becomes dirty. So that's why pristine becomes false and dirty becomes true. So here, Just I'm providing one name, email, term, phone number, okay, and address. Send. Could say whatever the value I type, mike@gmail.com, 7467 Chennai, everything will be updated to the value. Everything will be updated to the value. If I remove this, you could say still my submit button is disabled. But if I remove this and add anything, the submit button will get enabled. So that as per the validation we have given, the name, email, phone number, address, everything will be present so that it becomes valid form.
Sir,
Yes.
in this address, Chennai is a not static value, sir.
Yeah.
This is
Chennai,
also dynamic.
this is also we can change it. This is also we can change it. So I initialized it here like Chennai. So that's why
Okay.
Chennai is present there. So we can initialize anything also, like you can see in email. I initialize like this. You open, you could see in Chennai instead of Chennai, and you
The
can change it to
initial value not affected the and dirty something purity. That's all, sir.
no, it is not affected. Initial value will not affect. If any interaction finds on that form, then only the valid, touched, or pristine, or dirty, everything will be calculated. So until then, it becomes pure only.
Okay.
And anyway, no need to concentrate much on this form because we have another one efficient forms is available. That is reactive forms. Go there. Okay. So for template-driven forms, we have imported forms module. Then for reactive forms, we have to use a reactive forms module. So we have to import reactive forms module in my app.module.ts. Next, the validations performed in TS code. The validation should be performed in TS code, and it uses form group, form control link. It uses form group and form control link to work on reactive forms. Okay. Okay. So the reactive forms is an important forms. So we'll see after a short break.
Sir, only
Yes.
one question, sir.
Yeah.
அந்த காம்பனன்ட் கிரியேட் பண்றது வந்து ஜஸ்ட் ஃபைல் மாதிரி எவ்வளவு வேணா கிரியேட் பண்ணிட்டு டெலிட்டும் பண்ணிக்கலாம்ல சார்?
அது எவ்வளவு நேரம் கிரியேட் பண்ணி டெலிட் பண்ணிக்கலாம், நோ இஷ்யூஸ்.
அந்த காம்பனன்ட்ஸ்குள்ள தான் நம்ம கோட் எழுதணும் அப்படிதானே சார்?
நீங்க ஃபார்ம்ஸ்க்கு எத்தனை ஃபார்ம்ஸ் வேணாலும் கிரியேட், ஐ மீன் எத்தனை காம்பனன்ட் வேணாலும் கிரியேட் பண்ணிக்கலாம். ஆனா கோட் எழுதுறது HTML code should be present in HTML file.
Sir, I found out. Inside the form, நம்மளால வந்துட்டு இன்னொரு காம்பனன்ட்லாம் கிரியேட் பண்ண முடியாதுல்ல சார்?
இல்ல அதுவும் பண்ணலாம். ஓகே, ஃபார்ம்ஸ்குள்ளார இன்னொரு காம்பனன்ட் கிரியேட் பண்ணலாம். பட் ஆனா அந்த காம்பனன்ட்டுக்கு நீங்க ஒரு app.model கிரியேட் பண்ணணும். ஃபார் எக்ஸாம்பிள், if I am creating one more component inside this forms, we have to create one module for this forms component and we have to link it. Likewise, how the app.model?
ஃபார்ம் காம்பனன்ட்குள்ள இப்ப நம்ம ஒரு காம்பனன்ட் கிரியேட் பண்ணணும். அந்த காம்பனன்ட்டை நம்ம ஃபார்ம் கூட லிங்க் பண்ணிப்போம். ஃபார்ம் வந்து ஆல்ரெடி லிங்க் டு ஆப்ல சார்.
ஆமா.
ஓகே சார்.
Okay. So this is simple. இதுதான் ஒரு sorry, this is called a structure. Okay. So this is a basic structure. So we have a HTML code named as index.html. Okay. So index.html is there. So from the index.html, the root component, okay, the root component HTML and .html is there. Okay. First, our application will call this index.html. Then internally from index.html, the app.component.html will be called. Then from app.component.html, we are having data binding forms. We are having forms component. As of now, we have created data binding and forms like this. Okay. But this data binding and forms should be registered with the app.component.module. Okay. How many components we have created inside this? So similarly, if you are creating one more component inside forms, then you have to create one module file from this forms and you have to link it. Okay. So link it. So if we go inside forms.module, then we can understand, okay, inside forms.module, these many components are there. Similarly, if we go inside app.module.ts, okay, inside app.module.ts, data binding component is there and forms component is there. Like that, we can understand. So this is what the concept of single page application. So finally, we came here. Okay, single page application. So without redirecting from one page to another page, okay, without redirecting from one page to another page, we are just binding the HTML data based on some logic. Simple. So you can see we have index.html. It is a separate HTML document. App.component.html, separate HTML document. So if we have separate HTML document, whenever we click an option, it will go redirect and the entire HTML document will be loaded, right? So yesterday I gave you one template example, right? If we click about, then about.html will be loaded in my browser. Then if I click service.html will be loaded in my browser. But here, if you see, the the code only binding, it is not redirecting. Okay. So in a single page, only one time the application will be loaded, and the remaining time, based on the logic, the code will be binded. So this is called as single page application.
சார் இந்த ஃபார்முக்கு வந்து அந்த மாடல் டாட் டிஎஸ் தேவையில்லை தானே சார்?
ஃபார்முக்கு தேவையில்ல. I got no chat, right?
Sir, this notes you will given this end of the session, sir.
Yeah, at the end of the session, I will provide you.
Okay.
Yeah. So 2 minutes, hold your doubts. I'll be back.
ஓகே.
Okay, listen. Okay, listen, please. So we'll continue with the reactive forms. So the first step to work on with reactive forms, we have to install the reactive forms module. Sorry, we have to add the reactive forms module inside app.module.ts. Going here inside declarations, sorry, inside imports. Add this module, then click on quick fix, update import. Okay. So this forms model and reactive forms model is a part of Angular/forms. Okay. So both will be added in the same import statement. Next, forms. Uh, the commenter, I'm going to use the same forms.component.html. Here, use some code. And paste on code. Maybe I'll explain this. So here in reactive forms, they told you this is another otherwise called as modern form. Okay. Why? Because nowadays in latest Angular application, most of the places we're using this reactive forms only. For simple forms which you don't have much validation, then we can go for template driven forms. If we have any complex forms and we have do much calculations, much validations, then we can go for reactive forms. If we have a complex form things, we can go for reactive forms. Here, I created one form tag. Okay. For this form, I have to name. I have to name a. I have to provide a unique name identifier. I'm creating one form group and equals origin form. So here first I provided the identity, then I assigned the ng form. But here it is different. But for reactive forms it is different. Form group equals origin form. Okay. Next. Ng submit. If I submit this form, what should happen? So it should trigger the submit form function. Simple. So this is what the first line indicates. So for the form, I need to provide one unique name. The unique name is org form and ng submit. While submitting, what should happen? It should call the submit form method. Okay. Simple. So this thing we not created. Leave it. Then inside div, I created two input fields. So one is for name and another one is for email. And finally, button. Simple. the button type is submit button, and you should disable if the registration form is not valid. So if the registration form is not valid, then the submit button should be disabled. Simple. Next, we go to the component. In component, so first we have to initialize the form. Maybe I'll paste this. First we have to initialize the form. I'm initializing my registration form is a form group. So we have to import this, quick this, update imports. So what it is showing? Property origin form has no initializer and is not differently assigned constructor. Okay. It is not initialized, that's why it is showing like this. So here in HTML, my form group name is origin form. In my component.ts, I'm saying my origin form is a type of form group. Then it is asking for me to initialize this form. Now for initialization, I have to create one constructor. So I have to create one constructor first. Then after creating the constructor, calling this dot origin form. This dot origin form. I'm initializing. Now I need to create one new form group. New form group. So new form group means again the form group is its type of constructor. Then I have to provide the values. Here I'm opening a flower place. Name, my first field. Okay. Here I'm having one field in my form control name. It is a name. So name is new form control name. Control. New form control. And if the name is empty, then validators, it is important one. Validators dot require. Validators dot require. It is showing error. Then email. Same thing we have to follow. It's a new form control, and from here, if it is if the email field is empty, then I'm calling validators dot require. Again, I'm adding one more validator. Let's keep it simple. Then submit form. Simply in console dot log. Submitted. Okay, leave it. This is not our case. Okay. So here I'm saying my registration form is a form group. I created one constructor. I'm initializing the registration form. Why? Because it is asking for me to initialize this form. How I'm initializing? I'm creating a new form group. Inside form group, I'm having two form control names. One is email and another one is name. So new form control and new form control are created. Then next, If my name is empty, then I'm validating. I'm saying my validators dot required. Okay. So usually in forms, the name should not be empty. So we usually give here required like this. So instead of doing directly here, by using validators, I'm calling the required validators dot required. So I added validators dot required for name and validators dot required for email. Okay. Now we go to our browser. You could see name and email is empty initially. Then I provided something name. So still my form is not valid. Why? Because email is empty. Again, email. Now I type some value. So the name is not empty and email is not empty. So automatically it understood. So okay, if two things are not empty, then the form is valid. So my submit button will become enabled. So that is what the logic here. It should be disabled if it is not valid. So if it is enabled, if it is valid. So the validation is both should be present. Validator start required, validator start required. So it is satisfied, then it is enabled. Now here I'm having one more problem. Email format. The email format should be at gmail.com or at domain.com should be present. But here that's not present. So I need to add one more validation for the email. So how could I validate this? Here I'm creating one list like this. Apart from this validators dot required, I'm calling one more validation. Validators dot email. Validators dot email. So I can add few more validators also like compose, composing, match. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Am I audible?
Yes.
Screen
Sorry.
and
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yes, wait, just a minute. I got a power cut. A minute. Just give me a minute. I'll connect with my system. Am I audible now?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
But your screen is not visible.
Yeah, the screen will be stopped. Now,
Please do.
okay. So listen, I connected with my mobile network, so sometimes it may be down. So if you are unable to hear my voice, please let me know at quick.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. Okay. So one more validation we have to provide. So validators dot email. So other validations is also available: min length, maximum length, pattern, required, true, and all. But we need email now. Now I save this. If I go to my browser again, second it is refreshed. So in my name, I'm providing mic. Okay. So see, first it is invalid because name and email are empty. So I'm providing mic and email is mic again. So even the form is not valid. Why? Because even the name is some data is filled and email some data is filled. The email is not in an email format. So if I add this .com, then my submit button will get enabled. Okay. So apart from the required validation, it is it checks for email format validations. So similarly, we can do n number of validations for all the fields inside our forms. This is what a reactive forms concept. Okay. So the difference between template forms and reactive forms is in reactive forms, we have more control over the fields. And if it is a complex operation, sorry, complex forms, then better to go for reactive forms. Okay. This is concept. And next we will see one simple and very interesting topic. Right. For that again, I am creating one new
Sir,
component.
forms, normal forms, sir.
Mm.
Then only you did not the values are like this, sir.
No, no. தமிழ்லே கேட்கலாம் சொல்லுங்க.
நீங்க வந்துட்டு சார் நார்மல் ஃபார்ம்ல இப்போ வந்துட்டு ரியாக்ட் ஃபார்ம்ல வந்துட்டு நம்ம அட்டை சிம்பிள் போட்டு நம்ம வந்துட்டு இமெயில்னா இந்த ஃபார்மேட்ல வேணும் அப்படின்னு சொல்லிட்டு நம்ம வந்துட்டு அதை கொடுத்துருப்போம்ல சார்.
ஆமா.
அந்த மாதிரி நம்ம நார்மல் ஃபார்ம்லயும் கொடுக்க முடியுமா?
Normal in normal templates form we can't give that. Yeah.
Okay, sir. Then only move to the React form.
Yeah. So for that reason, we are moving to reactive forms. Okay. Next, ng generate component pipes. Okay. The next topic we have is pipes. Okay. So it is one of the interesting and very simple topic. For example, I'm having some data in my component. I'm having some fields and some data in my component.ts. So without changing the actual data, for only the displaying purpose, I'm converting the data or transforming the data. For example, title equals hello world or title equals pipes. So I gave it in a lowercase letter. I don't want to change that lowercase, but in HTML, while displaying, I should display like an uppercase letter. Okay. So I don't want to change the raw data, but for displaying purpose, I have to convert the data. Then how we can use that? That is what the pipe concept here. Okay. So to transform the data without affecting the original raw data. Simple. Without affecting the original raw data, how we are transforming the data, that is what the pipes. In pipe also we have different types. So first one is we have variety of built-in pipes. So built-in pipes means to convert the data into uppercase, lowercase, uppercase, lowercase for performing date, currency, and like that. So that is built-in pipes. One is customized pipes. We can customize the pipes based upon our purpose. Next one is chaining pipes. So if we provide 2 or more pipes in the same for the same data, that is called as chaining pipe. And finally, we have parameterized pipe. And we have parameterized pipes. For using these pipes, the pipe operator is used. This is called as pipe operator. It's called as pipe operator. And it is used for only displaying purpose. Okay, it will not affect any data. It will not change any data. Okay, it is just purely for displaying purpose. So how we are displaying the data inside our HTML document. Awesome code. Okay, see. Okay. See, so in my pipes component, I'm adding some data. So I'm adding a title. I'm adding today's date equals new date. And this is JSON value. So JSON value means key value plus name is the key, Alex is the value. So name, age, address. Inside address, there is one more JSON format is there. Next, months from Jan to December. Okay, 12 months I have given inside a list. So if I open the square brace, it's called as list. Okay. So title, today date, JSON value, and months. So this data is called as a raw data. As well, this is a original data. Now, I'm having a purpose. For example, the title is in lowercase. The title should be in uppercase. So I don't want to change the data, but at the same time, I want to display the data in an uppercase. Next, date. If I use this date constructor, new date, then date format will be like year, month, date, along with the timestamp is also there. So I want only the timestamp, or else I want only the date. Our date is also this format. If I want to do this, I can do with the help of pipe. JSON value. If I want to display the JSON value, just directly provide. We can provide JSON type for months. In order to display only specific months from Feb to May or June to July or August to December. If you want to display some particular months, that also I can do. So how to, let's see. This code is also simple. See here. So the first built-in pipe, it is called as uppercase pipe. I told you no, the title is in lowercase completely. I want to convert the pipe in uppercase. So inside my interpolation, this is normal. I'll show you. This is usual thing, usual interpolation. Inside my interpolation, with the help of a pipe component, with the help of a pipe operator, I should provide the pipe name uppercase. Uppercase. This is the pipe name. Next, lowercase, so title, that horizontal line, lowercase. Next, currency. So in the left side, there is a amount and the currency should be in USD dollars. This is called as parameterized pipe. So the currency is the pipe name and USD is the parameter. Okay, I'm providing some parameter. Based upon the parameter, the currency will be the. So the currency USD, Euro, INR, many currency types were there. So based upon the currency type I have provided, it will be transferred. Date pipe. So today date, I want only the date, month, and the year. I want only the time today. So short time can provide. And here we have a decimal pipe. So I'm having a decimal point 454 and 78787881 like this. But I should restrict the format like in the first it is three digits. In the second it should be 4 digits. Okay. So 3 is for main integer and 4 is for other integer after the decimal point. If I want to restrict like this, I can provide this pipe and JSON value. So I should say it is a JSON type of value. So by using JSON pipe, I can provide that percentage. So 0.54565. I should convert this into, this is actually a raw data, but I should convert this into percentage for displaying purpose. Next, slice pipes, months. I'm slicing the months from 2 to 6, from second month to sixth month. Actually, the second month will not be included. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 4 months will be sliced. So this is what the purpose. I save this, and if you open my simple browser, okay, again we forgot to include the okay. So we added our pipe. So if you go to the simple browser, you could see uppercase pipe. So pipes concept transferred to uppercase, and at the same time it is converted into lowercase. It was transformed into lowercase. Currency pipe, dollar value, and date pipe, only the date, and here only the time. Decimal pipe, you could see we have so many decimals, but the decimals were rounded into 4 digits. And JSON pipe, it is displayed as a JSON format. Percentage pipes. So there we have 0.54565, but it is converted into percentage and displayed like this. And slice pipe also from 2 to 6. So 2 will not be included. So March, April, May, June, 4 months is shown here. Right? So this is what the pipes comes up. It is a very simple, and the usage of pipe is we have in different places. So wherever you need to display without changing the actual data, without changing the raw data, for only for displaying purpose, if we transform a data, that is called as a pipe. Then finally we have, let's see, next we have directives. The concept is simple. So how we are using our conditional statements in other programming languages, that is what given it in the name of directives. Okay. So it is a custom HTML attributes. So it's a custom HTML attributes. Use it to change the style. This to change the style or behavior of HTML DOM elements. So directives is nothing but whatever the conditional statements you see in other programming languages, same that is in directives in Angular. So we have 3 different directives. So one is the first one is component directive we have. The first one is component directive. Second one we have structural directive. Structural directive. Component directive, structural directive, and third one is attribute directive. Directive. So component directive is by default available in Angular. Is by default I'm saying means in our app.component.html. So whatever the selector we are using, that selector only binded to the HTML page, binded to the browser first. Okay. So that based upon our condition, it is automatically binded to the browser. So that is our component directive. For example, even if we have data binding directive, even if you have data binding component, form component, pipe component, if we are working on with pipe, then we can call the pipe selector only. So even we have form selector and data binding selector, it will not work because we have commented it, and if we don't call this, it will not work. Okay. So that is component directive. Structural directive means the if condition, for condition, if conditions, for loop, like that. So in Angular we call it as ng if and ng for, ng switch, ng if, ng for, and then ng switch. And in attribute directive we have ng style and we have ng class. That's all. Go to component. Comment this. What is that? So till now we have seen like our JavaScript code. Okay. So JavaScript code means dynamic typing. In all the places, while providing title in pipes, we gave dynamic typing. You can see here. I didn't specify it is a string or it is a date, it is a JSON value, it is a list. I didn't mention that. Okay. Why? Because it is a dynamic typing. So title equals types concept. So if it is a string, it understood it is a string. If it is a number, it understood as a number. So now we try. So now we try some implementing static typing. So listen, is logged in. I'm creating a variable is logged in, and I'm mentioning the variable should be boolean and equals true. So this is called as static typing. If I provide is logged in without if I provide this is logged in without this boolean, then it is called as dynamic typing. So I have provided unrestricted using boolean. If I try to use string, it will throw me error. Type string is not assignable to type boolean. So only boolean values will be assigned to this variable. First point is logged in boolean. Next, in HTML, what we are going to work is we are going to work on if condition first. Structural directive. So if we want to work on with if condition, I'm opening a paragraph. Okay, opening a paragraph. Inside that paragraph, for working on with if structural directive, we need is ng if. So the syntax is star ng if star ng if equals double quotes is logged in that boolean variable is logged in that boolean variable here I provided. Okay, then p ngif is logged in the paragraph. The user or come user login success. Let's say no. So this will be binded to our browser. Then if you go here, you could see welcome user login success. Why? Because the return type of this is login, the value of this login is true. If I change this to false and save this in simple browser, the text will not be displayed. The text is there in our HTML page. The text is the welcome user login success is there in our HTML document. But based upon the condition, it is not displayed. So this is what structural directive. If I want to make this display, then I have to pass the true data. True. So welcome user login success. Simple. Okay, so you said if condition. So I want to handle the else case. So how to do that? Let me tell you. In Angular, in order to perform else case, we have to create one separate tag for it. The tag name is ng template. We have to create a separate tag named as ng template. After creating the tag, we have to name this tag. So else login. Else login. This is the name. So hash else login. Or else not login. Say, not login. Easier for us to explain. Not log. Then inside this not log, I'm opening a paragraph tag again. Please login to continue. Login to continue. So I created an ng template and provided name is not logged in. Then I click please login to continue. Again, I have to add the else condition. So in order to add this else condition, close this by using semicolon. Close this by using semicolon. Then provide a keyword named as else. And after that, provide the ng template name. So else not login. Save it. So initially the login is true. If you go to browser, welcome user login success. If the login becomes false, the login becomes false, you could say please login to continue. Okay. So in directors.html, the please login to continue text is also present on same HTML document. The welcome user login success is also present on same HTML document. Based on the purpose, based on the condition, based on the value, we can change the structure. So this is one of the example of structural directory. Ng if. Next, ng for. In order to work on with ng for, we need a list. I'm having a list already. Users string array of Alice, Bob, Charlie, and then David. Alice, Bob, and Charlie, and David with that. I need to iterate over the string array one by one. So in order to do this, it use the ng for. Before using ng for, so h1, h3, users list, h3 users list. In one list tag, I'm creating a list tag. Inside one list tag, I'm creating one ordered list OL tag. Sorry, mention the ordered list first and realize it. This is an ordered list. Okay, LI tag. In LI tag, starting with ng and then for equals. So in JavaScript, we have an advanced looping concept like for off loop and for in loop like that. So now we are going to use for off. So let u is my variable of what is this array name? This users string u of users. And here in interpolation, I'm passing the u. Okay. So in users, it will fetch one by one, and it is assigned to u, and the u is displayed like this here. So I'm saving it. Save it. Go to the simple browser. You could see Alice, Bob, Charlie, then David. So this is the users list. So one by one, if I use UL unordered list, OL means ordered list, UL means unordered list. If we use unordered list, then bulletin points will be shown like this. Alias, Bob, Charlie, and the David. So it is processing one by one. So this is what NG for. Finally, we have NG switch. This switch. So why we use for switch case? If we want to match between different scenarios of options, we can go for switch case. So in this switch case, I'm having a purpose like what type of user it is, what type of user is there logged in. So if it is an admin, then you have admin privileges text should be displayed. If it is an user, then user privileges access should be displayed. Then default, if it is not admin and not user, then you have no assigned role. Some kind of text should be displayed based upon the value inside user role. In user role, it is given as none. So if you go to the browser, you can see you have no assigned role. Then if we change this to admin, so it's admin, then you can see we have admin privileges. Then again, if it is a user, it will match the type of user. Then based upon the type, have user privileges. So this text should be displayed. So the switch case is used for matching the different conditions. So here, why it is given inside structural directive. So even if we have three text based upon the condition, we have only one text should be displayed. That is called as switch structural directive. So ngif, ng for, and then just which we have seen. So quickly we can go over the attribute directive also. Directive, and then create a table. I'll create a table. So table, we need to create a table row. Table row. In table row, I'm going to use for loop star ng for. In ng for, let u of users. Let u of users. First thing. Other than that, we can perform the index operations also. Index operation means in the list there are list of data were given, but the first one, second one, third one, that will not display. So if you want to do something with the index, we can assign index also. Let I equals index. Let I equals index. So if we do this, then inside the I 1, 2, 3, 0, 1, 2, 3 like that, it will assign. For attribute directive, there is a ng style and ng class. Simply, it is related to CSS concept. Here, after this, adding one ng style, my condition is if the index modulo 2 double equals 0, if the index modulo 2 double equals 0, then if the index modulo 2 is double equals 0, then the color should be red, or the same color should be green. So I'm looping through the list. I'm assigning the index in ng style. Style means what? Styling the CSS. So here, based upon the condition, if the index modulo 2 is equal to 0, then it should be red color. Then the table row should be red color, or else it is green color. So here we need to display the index as well as the. So for displaying, we need the table data. Interpolation u if you want to print the ID, and then I, so I save it. If you go to our browser, you could see Alice is red and Bob is green alternatively. So based upon the modular calculation, either the color should be red or color should be green to display. So same like here, I directly gave the property. If I gave the entire class, entire CSS class, then we should go for ng class. So both are similar. So instead of giving property, we could give as a class.
Sir,
We should call the call name. So class name here. Yes,
sir.
yes.
நம்ம வந்து இன்லைன்ல ஸ்டைல் பண்ணையில தான் வந்துட்டு என்ஜி ஸ்டைல் வந்துட்டு யூஸ் பண்றோம். ஹோலா வந்துட்டு ஸ்டைல் பண்ணணும்னா என்ஜி சிஎஸ்எஸ் யூஸ் பண்றோமா சார்?
இல்ல இது வந்து this is called as attribute directive. So that one is different and this one is different. So the same CSS property we can give inside here directives component.css also we can provide the CSS properties, but inside the HTML we can customize the CSS also. Okay. So if we apply the CSS directly for all the table component, the same CSS will be displayed. But for particular table component, I need to change the style color. I need to change the color or class based on data. Then we can go for the attribute directly. Okay. Fine. 10 minutes here down. And one should I'll extend it. Decorators means simply it's a meta information of the class. So decorator means it's a meta information of the class. So we have different kinds of decorators at component, at ng, model, at pipe, okay. So these are called as decorators. So if you see inside this applet component, so this is also a class. So export class app module. So if you go any component here also we can see export class directives component. So this is also a type of class and this is also a type of class. So in order to identify which class is component class, which class is model class, which class is pipe class, we can create which class is service. Then this decorators will be used. So if at component decorators is used, then it should understood, okay, it is a component. Then if we have at ng model, okay, it will understood it is a model class, module class. Right? And decorators. One more topic of this modules. Modules means grouping the components. Grouping the components. Every component state the module should be registered. Every component inside the module should be registered, and by default, app dot module present. This modules. Okay, fine. So that's all. So we have, I hope we have covered almost the basic things we just needed. So with the help of this basic knowledge, if you search on any other next topics, you could be able to identify those topics and you can able to navigate inside that. So if anyone have any doubts, please ask me. So meanwhile, I'll share this text file in the chat.
Sir,
Okay.
sir, app.module.ts is not present by default, sir. What should we do now, sir?
Maybe search for the version which you have installed. So why it is not present.
Okay, sir. Some other file also missing, sir, like approot.module.ts also, sir.
Okay, actually approach.model, it will ask you at initial stage. If it doesn't ask you at the initial stage, then we have to add it manually.
Okay, sir.
Like I'll show you. I think I closed the terminal. Okay, at the time of creating project, it will first ask you for would you like to add routing like that. So if it is asked when I press yes, then that routing model will be added. So maybe due to the latest version, there are some changes may get added.
Okay, sir.
Sir, that app routing, when we will use that?
So till now we have seen adding the components inside same HTML page. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So when we are having a need, like if I click on button or if I click on link, then again a new tab of browser should be displayed for the particular HTML document. Then the tab routing will be used.
Okay.
Until then, we no need of that app.routing.
Okay, for going to next page, that means link like.
Yeah, if I want to open something in a separate tab, then at the time that routing will be used. Okay, so everyone received the notes file in the chat.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, okay. So thank you everyone.
Sir,
Yes,
sir,
anyone had doubts, please.
sir, Angular basics over, sir. We have more classes or that's all?
No, over. It is today's 6-hour session. So
Okay,
in the session, I have covered the basic which kickstarted for the Angular.
okay, sir.
So it's completed.
Yes, sir. I also think so. It's over.
Yeah. So don't worry, I covered almost all the basics which is needed. So hereafter you will have the concept like parent-child communication, HTTP communication, that are all backend supports are needed. So with the help of this basic knowledge, if you search the topic, then you can understand. No issues on that.
Okay, sir. That means the Angular class is over, I think
Yeah.
so.
Yeah, over.
Okay.
Sir,
Okay. Yes.
so created in three components, sir.
Again, come again.
சரி இப்போ நம்ம 3 காம்பனண்ட் வந்து கிரியேட் பண்ணிருக்கோம்ல சார். அந்த 3மே வந்துட்டு நம்ம ஆப் டாட் காம்பனண்ட் டாட் டிஎஸ் அதுல வந்துட்டு நம்ம இம்போர்ட் பண்றோம்ல சார், லிங்க் பண்றோம்.
ஆமா, app.model.ts லிங்க் பண்ணிருக்கோம். ஓகே.
அதுக்கு நம்ம டைரக்டா மெயின்னு சொல்லிட்டு ஒரு காம்பனண்ட் வச்சு அந்த காம்பனண்ட்டுக்குள்ள இது 3யும் லிங்க் பண்ணி மெயினை வந்துட்டு நம்ம ஆப் டாட் காம்பனண்ட் டாட் டிஎஸ்ல கொடுக்க முடியாதா சார்?
கொடுக்கலாமே.
ஓகே.
தட்ஸ் ஆல்சோ கொடுக்கலாம். ஸோ அது எப்படி பண்ணணும் அப்படின்னா லைக் so consider we have created a data binding folder. Inside data binding we have directives, forms and then types. Okay, so consider inside data binding we have directives, forms and types. So if we create like this, for data binding alone we need to create one data binding .model.ts file, and we have to add the components there, and that model file we have to add inside this imports of app.model.ts. So we have to link like this. So the data binding forms are linked with the app.component. If anything inside forms you have created, you have to create one forms.model, and that model you have to link with app.component.model. Simple. Okay, thank you all of you. See, all the best.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Can you know?
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.